back on the plane, back to Austin. Let's do this thing. One day in Portland has been successful. I'm gonna drive home, check in with y'all in the morning. So I went to the material show in Portland. Quick day trip just to see what I could see and learn what I could learn. It was fascinating. There were dozens and dozens of textile producers, foam producers, logo producers, like all kinds of different suppliers. Mostly international, Asia-based. There were a few domestic-based, but it was a mix. Pretty much anything you can imagine they would have there in terms of footwear production. It was awesome and almost overwhelming, to be honest, the amount of inputs, sensory inputs that were jogging the mind. And I thought I'd share a few takeaways. Right off the bat, I wanted to say thank you for the engagement on the last video. That was awesome. I got some epic and excellent suggestions for vlogs. I'm looking forward to tackling them in the upcoming weeks. Y'all give me a little grace. I am slammed right now at Atreyu with the day-to-days. Absolutely slammed to the gills. Kind of losing my mind. Taking on probably a little too much. Accounting close is coming up for the month. I've got colorway revisions for upcoming daily trainers and base model updates, and we're out of base model sizes for a lot of the female or the smaller of the male sizes. It's kind of embarrassing, but it's a cash flow thing. It's a production thing. I'm handling it. I'm doing my best. We're gonna get back on top, and I'm gonna figure out the supply chain thing sooner or later. Y'all give me a little grace on that if I don't have your size. It's a human user peril and error, but we're doing the best we can with that. Nevertheless, the topics were amazing. So much to cover, so much great stuff. Gonna get out into the field, talk to some athletes, do some day in life stuff. Just really gonna hit a lot of those hard, and so thank you. Thank you so very much. If you're liking what you see so far, everybody says like and subscribe. I enjoy seeing the subscriber base go up on the YouTube channel. I've got high hopes for this outlet and what it can do for the brand. I see this as the true personification of the equities of the brand. I think YouTube is superior to Instagram and TikTok and all that ephemeral stuff. I get it. I get the world needs that stuff. I get everybody's doing it. I personally don't love it. It's a noisy world out there, and I feel like YouTube is a medium where I can really dig in, and it's going to take time, but at the same time I feel like I can dig in, and it's been a lot of fun. So I've got a restored sense of confidence and enthusiasm coming back from the material show, and I'll share the takeaway. Of course, there's beautiful materials and uppers and foams and everything you can imagine. Of course, we can't use them all. We can't pay for them all. We can't implement everything all at once. We have to pick deliberately and intentionally based off of the resources we have. But the cool takeaway is this. Talking to the suppliers in a subtle way really opens up my ability to conceptualize the entire materials ecosystem, so to speak, how things work together as a designer, how we're supposed to not just design something on a 2D technical drawing in Adobe Illustrator or something like that and submit it, but really think about the fact that a factory isn't just a single entity. It's an ecosystem of all of these different suppliers that come from different regions, and they put them all together in the lasting process at the factory, the final stage. But the laces come from the laces supplier, and the uppers are, it's as you can imagine, there has to be this ability to intentionally design for production, a very practical and real-world application of how design is actually followed through from the conceptualization and creative stage to the actual commercialization and the production stage. Now, it was validating because I think a lot about this when I make revisions or submissions to the factory through my factory liaisons and all of the communications that I have with all of these folks, the people that are making the sample products and mixing the colors of the Pantone colors and all that stuff. It's I'm always thinking a little bit codependently. How is this going to, what are the minimum order quantities, so to speak? Like, is this just one little piece that's going to take a huge roll of TPU and we're just going to have wasted TPU? But how can we use that same roll for different applications? And all of this was really validating because I spent a lot of time thinking about that kind of codependently. And I was reassured that that's exactly the right way to think. So I'm loving my job as a designer. And frankly, I wish I could do a lot more of it and spend a little bit less time on the accounting and kind of the day-to-days and the fundamentals. But c'est la vie, that's the way it goes. I gotta split my time very resourcefully. But really getting to know that we're doing a lot of things right. We just have to keep pressing forward, asking all the right questions, learning all the right things. Anyway, I thought that I'd share that with you. It's a fun process. If you're a designer out there, it's fun to think about the real world application of the creative process. We can't just make things and expect that on a production level or like the in real life version of the product. We have to really think from beginning to end. It's very cool. If you have any thoughts, hit that below. It's a really cool trip, always learning something. I thought that I'd share the little montage, and maybe not so dense this week, but a takeaway that's saying it's always great. Time is always a huge asset. It's the subtle details of asking the right questions so that we can keep going down the right path that, that can lead us to confidence. My confidence as a designer, as somebody who's going to submit to the factory, how is this going to look on the end stage? How are we going to produce it? Seems a little bit, even saying it out loud, it's kind of like, it's a subtle point, but it's a fun one. Hope you learned something this week. I just love catching up and working with great people, enjoying the beautiful process, enjoying what I get to do, and hopefully in the future spending a lot more time on the research and development side as we make meaningful and incremental upgrades to the product lineup in a very controlled and sustained fashion. That's all I got for today. Hope y'all are having a great day. Looking forward to digging into those topics that y'all submitted. Thank you so much one more time again for the engagement. We'll come at you next week with a new vlog. Adios for now. This was for the base trail. This was the fabric for the base trail. Yeah, pretty cool. TPE, reflective yarn. Not bad. It's endless. It's everywhere. You gotta pick deliberately, because it's out there. See y'all later.